right? So employee SSN, we are basically referencing this particular employee table and this particular attribute for that table. We can also reference other attributes as well, but usually whenever we are referencing something, we would always try to reference the primary key of that particular table and provide a PCB ID, not nuls. And as you can see that usually if we want our database to be really strict, we should always have a not null criteria next to it, right? So that actually tells us that we can't have a null value. We have to have some value. Yes, and we can also combine multiple constraints. So essentially, that is fine. We talked about that. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, self-referencing foreign keys. So up to now, we were talking about foreign keys where one particular attribute is being referenced by another table. Right? So we have one attribute in one table, and this particular other table is referencing that attribute. So is it possible for me to write a query like this? So let's say that I have this query and pay close attention to this one. Create table employee, employee ID int primary key, employee SSN number, blah, 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 not null, unique, employee name, varchar 40, not null. Then we have this particular attribute, that is manager ID, has integer type, references employee, right? So this particular table references the same table employee. Can you tell me why we would want to have something like this? Like, and what does it mean to reference the same table, and should it be allowed? Any ideas?
I would say no.
Right? Because it seems weird, right? Because we are referencing the same table, and what does that even mean? But essentially, imagine the case where manager is an employee, and every employee has a manager, right? So that would mean that the manager ID should have a correct employee ID, right? So basically, we are saying that since it references employee, it is referencing the primary key, and a manager ID should be a valid employee ID. And this is the only table that we have. So in that scenario, that should be applicable, and every employee should have a manager ID. And that would also mean that another thing that what would be the manager of a manager? And for that, we can have other cases. So we can have the same manager ID and employee ID for a manager, or a null value for manager IDs for no managers, right? But essentially, we can do things like this because we are referencing the same table by saying that within this entire table, for all the employee IDs that we have, our manager ID can only be one of those valid employee IDs that we insert. So does this make sense? Like how we can reference our own table and consider those to be sort of foreign keys, but essentially our own table where we are saying that these values can only be from these set of valid values for any employee, right? Any questions about this? So these can be done, right? So what I'm saying is this can be done, and you can reference your own table by just saying that we are referencing our own table, and that means that this manager ID has to be correlated with this employee ID.
So if we query something that is just null, would it give us just an empty tuple?
Very interesting question. So we can't query a null value, or basically we can't insert a null value when it's a primary key, obviously, but essentially we can't actually query a null value, because remember, even whenever we are searching for null equals null, that is also undefined. That is not true, right? So we can't ever query null value things. We can't, for example, we can't say select star from table where value is null. That never works out. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let's see. Yes, and we can also allow multi-column foreign keys as well. So essentially, instead of writing those primary keys and foreign keys constraints here, we can also write them at the end of our table creation. So primary key is employee ID, unique is employee SSN, foreign key is manager ID, reference is employee. And all of these constraints would have their own name. You can also name them if you want, and we will talk about that in a second, but essentially you can also name them if you want, and we will see why we would like to name them. But essentially these constraints can be named, and if you do not give a name, MySQL or any other your database system is smart enough to assign some nice names to these constraints as well. And basically the thing is, I was talking about is essentially if you want multi-column foreign keys, we would have to do the same thing as with primary keys and essentially have them at the end of our table definition. Okay, what else? Okay, multi-column foreign keys can also be affected by null values. So coming back to your question, Dennis. Yes, null values are very weird when we are talking about foreign keys, or apart from primary keys, foreign keys, unique values all behave weirdly in case of null values. So if all foreign key values are non-null, in that, so imagine multiple attributes being used as a foreign key and all of those foreign keys are not null, then the foreign key constraint is enforced. However, if any value of the foreign key is null, then the constraint will not be enforced. So your table will not give you an error. It will just stop enforcing that particular foreign key constraint altogether. Right. So basically, that is the main concept. The book defines this particular concept as the constraint is defined to hold. And that is something, we can say that is something, but essentially what it means is any foreign key value, if it is a null value, your table would automatically internally stop enforcing that foreign key constraint. So remember that as well. Okay, let's see. So for example, we can have this bank schema. We have a table account that has a primary key for account number. And a quick question. So basically I have account number, branch name and balance. And for everyone, I have said that this can't be null. But I've also said that, so this is just me being overzealous with my attribute names, but essentially I've also said primary key is account number. So if my primary key is account number, do I need to have this constraint as well, that is stating account number is not null, or can I do it without it? I can do without this one, right? Because not null is predefined when we are defining something as a primary key. And then we can have a depositor relation that can have separate primary keys and foreign key values for referencing the account and the customer table. Okay. Violating foreign keys. Okay, so there are several ways of violating foreign keys. The main way would be whenever we are trying to insert a row into depositor relation, as we talked about, which contains an invalid account number. So the corresponding account number does not exist in the account table. Or for example, if you want to update the depositor relation with a new value of an account number, that might screw things up. Or the other thing could also be that what do we do with a depositor row if we delete a particular account from the account table, right? We also talked about that. Like, what do we do in those cases? So let's say that, going back to our previous example, let's say that we are deleting the 256 account number from our account table. What happens then? We just said that in order to delete it correctly, we would have to first delete the depositor tuple and then delete the account tuple. But let's say that I'm currently writing the query to delete the to A256 account tuple from the table. So what goes on? We have an example. So let's say that, so this is your account table and this is a depositor table. Let's take an example for this one. And let's say that we are trying to delete A22 from the account table, right? So the depositor table references the account table, and basically we are deleting this particular row from the account table. Now, what does that mean? So A22 already has a depositor data, that is Lindsay and A222. So what do we do with this thing? So if we try to delete this particular tuple from the account table, there are a bunch of ways we can actually work with that. So the first way would be like disallow that delete from the account until and unless you maintain the referential integrity of that entire table. So essentially first delete from the depositor account, only then you are allowed to delete from the account table, right? So disallow unless that is the case. Or sometimes your database systems are quite smart, and I know that Postgres and MySQL are quite smart about this, that they would allow you to cascade your delete operations. So if I delete something from the account table, so let's say I'm deleting this particular account from the account table, your database system would actually look for all databases that are referencing this table, search for the account number A222, and delete all of those before deleting this particular account. So MySQL and Postgres do actually do something similar to that. So essentially it would automatically delete this entry from the depositor table and then delete this entry from the account table. But if you think about it, there are other two options that actually we will talk about. But if you think about it, disallowing the delete operation on account, that was our first option, that until and unless the user manually deletes all those rows from the depositor, we will not allow removing that A22 account. This is a pain, but this is also a better choice than letting your database automatically cascade deletes on your database. Because what if you made a mistake and you're suddenly losing all that data, right? It might look quite easy and it might look reasonable, but if you think about it, a small error or a slight error in this case would cascade deletes across your database, and that is so not something that we should want. But again, this is available to us as well. The other thing that we can do is essentially set our foreign key values to null. Again, remember that if we specify a foreign key to be not null, this cannot be done. So that particular foreign key column cannot have the not null constraint on it. Or we can also say that we can set the foreign key to some default value. We have not talked about it. We will talk about it in a second, but essentially we can also set it to some default value. Okay, so what to do about those default operations that we want to allow. So we had the disallow operation, or the cascade operation, cascade delete operation, or setting the foreign key to some default value. So we have expressions for those as well, where we can specify what we want to do depending upon our table. So we can say that if it is the depositor table, maybe it works that we do actually delete, right? So we can say foreign key account number references account, on delete cascade, right? And there are other versions of this as well. So we have on delete set default, and set default to null or set default to some particular value. On delete